up on Good Morning Texas.
Sunday morning cat yoga,
Healthy popsicles,
and UT students talk about the do's and don'ts for midterms.
Meme-themed cookies. All this and more coming up on Good Morning Texas.
Good morning, Texas. It's Wednesday, February 21st. I'm Jaewon Yu.
I'm Kayla Peterman.
And I'm Caitlin Boo. Thanks for joining us on GMTX this morning.
So, how's y'all's morning holding up so far?
Well, it's a little cold and rainy. I didn't really expect it, but otherwise pretty good.
Yeah,
Really?
I wasn't expecting it
Yesterday, literally, I was planning on wearing, a whole outfit, but it ended up being sunny, so I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually wear a dress. So I wore a dress yesterday, and then today, totally different conditions.
For sure.
All right, it's gonna pour later.
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
not
ready
ready.
for that?
I don't have a rain jacket or an umbrella, so I don't even know how I'm gonna survive this week, guys.
Yikes. Is Wednesday a longer day for you?
For me, yes, for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
During weathers like this, I just wish I had my pet with me, straight up. But speaking of pets, yesterday was National Love Your Pets Day, and to celebrate, we went to Blue Cat Cafe to check out our Sunday morning cat yoga.
A few people in Austin got a head start on their Sunday morning with some yoga, but with a twist. Blue Cat Cafe in East Austin hosts cat yoga almost every Sunday morning. It is the first cafe in Texas where guests can play with resident cats. With cats roaming freely during the class, participants get to relax and stretch alongside some furry friends.
It was so much fun because you would see these cats just come across casually and be like, hi, I'm here now. And they would lay with you, and they weren't invasive. They just helped bring the energy up to a new level. It was nice. I really enjoyed it.
Likewise, yoga instructor Casey O'Neill says the spontaneity of the class is her favorite part about teaching it.
You really never know what the cats are going to do and how they're going to interact with the participants in class. And so it's really fun to get to witness that and to see people really enjoying the space.
Besides hosting cat yoga, the purpose of Blue Cat Cafe is to get their cats adopted. Blue Cat Cafe focuses particularly on housing older cats for adoption, and so far they've been able to help find homes for hundreds of cats.
We've had, I'd say, easily over 500 adoptions so far. And when you're here and you can play with cats and pet them and interact with them, it just makes it easier finding the right cat for a person.
The cafe hopes that hosting events like cat yoga will continue to help find forever homes for these cats. For Good Morning Texas, I'm Sally Seo.
I really wish I could be part of that, but I'm allergic to cats, so I can't be part of that crowd.
I'm
seriously.
not, so thankfully I can still go to cat yoga in the future.
One day.
Two of the best things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, another thing that's really great is that Austin is known for a number of things, ranging from live music, great tacos, and being weird. We took a look at one bakery that truly embraces what makes Austin different with a sweet twist.
From the outside, Haley Cakes and Cookies looks like your typical suburban neighborhood sweet shop. But their cakes and cookies hold a lot more spunky personality.
We just like to be relevant. So a lot of things inspire us, whether it was funny or sad or just applies to a lot of people, stuff that normally you wouldn't see somewhere. We just really want to be different.
This local bakery located in Austin went viral on social media for their combination of humorous and beautiful cookie designs and quotes. The cookies are equally tasty as they are creative, truly holding up to the saying of Austin's motto, keep Austin weird.
I'd say we're definitely uniquely Austin. I guess in Austin it's like you go there because you can find stuff that is nowhere else. That probably is the main reason. It's also really artistic. I feel like Austin is innately for artists, whether it's music, obviously, or actual, typical painting and artwork.
Each cookie can take up to 25 minutes to decorate, making the designing a time-consuming but important part of the whole cookie-making process.
We are inspired by memes because we'll spend our evenings texting each other after we've been here together for 16 hours. We'd go home and text each other memes, and it's like, that has to be a cookie. So I feel like that. it's a good name, I guess. That's what we are known for.
Haley Cakes and Cookies plans to move closer to UT's campus in the future and hopes to continue being uniquely Austin. This was Jaewon Yu for Good Morning Texas.
So I already went 2 times to that place, and it's a perfect place if you want to get any gifts of any kind, and also like if your friends like memes, and like honestly, who doesn't like memes in this age?
Honestly,
But
who
like
doesn't?
their cookies are meme themed. Like they have like hilarious things on it. Like one of them, I bought one like last time I went there, and it literally said "better late than ugly," and then like it had a lipstick on the side. It was really funny.
Which one was your favorite meme cookie?
My favorite one was "Not Today, Satan." There was like fire on the cookie.
I feel that.
So if you want anything quirky, that's like a great place to go to.
Awesome. Speaking of sweet things, Pop Bar, a New York-based popsicle company, had its grand opening this weekend in downtown Austin. Located on 3rd and Lavaca, it is easily accessible to the UT student body. Pop Bar has over 40 different flavors to choose from, ranging from coconut gelato to strawberry sorbet. The grand opening festivities included drawings for $25 gift cards, free pops for a year, and a pair of Beats headphones. The new popsicle spot isn't your typical gelato shop, though. They've got several ways to customize your pop.
Crafted gelato. We make it fresh from the back, come out to the front. We have a display, all the flavors. It's just unlimited flavors, unlimited toppings and poppings, what we call poppings. Like we have nuts, pistachio, hazelnuts, just really cool,
So
healthy
I had
stuff.
a lot of fun going out to that place. It was very sweet, very homey. You know, like you didn't feel awkward walking in there. You definitely felt like you were walking into a home. And I had a custom coconut gelato pop made with like milk chocolate and almonds, so it was like eating an Almond Joy. And like you can do anything that you want at that place, so it's really awesome, and I definitely recommend going.
All right, that's one thing that I'll totally be looking forward to again.
Definitely gonna check that place out.
Once it gets warmer, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, seriously.
Not today,
But yeah,
but
tough
in the
times
future.
these days. But there's one thing that always brings us Longhorns together, and it's the struggle of midterms week. Whether it's your first year here or last, Good Morning Texas has got you covered on how to survive them. We went around campus this week to ask students their tips and tricks to ace their exams.
Finals week, I usually like to find a good place to study, like the FAC or the PCL, and I usually get a few snacks and then take all my books and laptop over there and just hunker down for a good few hours.
Definitely don't pull an all-nighter studying or doing a project because you will sleep through your test.
Have a good breakfast before your midterm if it's later in the day.
Don't leave everything right until the last minute.
Get a lot of sleep, eat well, don't cram.
Definitely make sure that you don't spend the weekend out and you actually get your stuff done.
Well, how was talking to people overall?
It was really awesome. People were just really friendly, and they came up and talked to me, and honestly, it was really relatable. Like all the tips and tricks I got.
Really?
I was just like, yeah, I completely agree with everything you're saying.
What do you think was like the best advice out of all the things that you heard?
Definitely don't pull all-nighters. That's that's a mistake that I made freshman year a lot. I've learned that that's not the way to go.
I'm totally guilty of that still.
Yeah, me too.
It's hard, but yep, gotta pull through.
Yes, exactly.
Well, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Caitlin with today's top stories. We're back with Caitlin in our News and Weather Center. What's the latest in the news, Caitlin?
The weekend is coming up soon, so why not explore the indoors during this cloudy weekend? Austin is known for its food scene, and Texas National Magazine, Texas Monthly, agrees. Texas Monthly recently put out a list of 2018's top 10 best new restaurants in Texas. 2 Austin-based restaurants snagged a spot on the list. Kamari Tatsuya came in second with its Tokyo-style Japanese barbecue, which opened in August of 2017. Along with that, Pitchfork Pretty came in 7th on the list, serving up hill country cuisine. Recently, Governor Greg Abbott recommended his new plan to prevent sexual harassment in the state of Texas. Abbott created his plan after hearing Christine Vanderwater's testimony to Capitol officials making inappropriate comments about rape. His plan, Preventing Crime, Protecting Citizens, Punishing Criminals, was announced on February 6th. This plan would put the Texas Rangers Public Integrity Unit in charge of investigating any sexual misconduct by elected officials or government employees. This will cost the state about $1.9 million to implement. Governor Abbott means to eliminate any sexual misconduct in the Texas federal government. George Clooney and his wife, Amal, are donating $500,000 to students who are organizing a nationwide march against gun violence. The Clooneys say the money will be donated under the names of their 8-month twin girls. Oprah Winfrey later tweeted that she would match the Clooneys' donation, saying the students reminded her of the Freedom Riders of the 60s. These celebrity donations are in response to the recent school shooting in Florida. Us here at Good Morning Texas send out our hearts and respect to those affected by the mass shooting.
Thank you, Caitlin. Well, regarding those 2 restaurants that she was talking about above, we totally need to check those out.
For sure. I definitely agree. I love barbecue. Anything to do with barbecue, I'm into it.
That's great. Well, one thing that I'm kind of nervous about is like the rest of the week in terms of weather, because literally I don't know what to expect. So how's the weather looking, Caitlin?
Expect to bring an umbrella to class because it's going to be a very wet week. Today, expect some heavy rain in the morning with a 100% chance of rain. The high of 50 will drop around 11 to a low of 42. Tonight, there will be some showers and thunderstorms with a 50% chance of rain. Thursday, we might see some showers and thunderstorms with a high of 53 and a low of 52 that night, with a 60% chance of rain through Friday morning. Friday, we will most likely see some showers and a possible thunderstorm with a high of 72 and a low of 62 with a 50% chance of rain that night. Saturday will be a windy day with speeds up to 15 miles per hour. We'll finally see the temperatures pick up with a high of 71 and a low of 49. We'll see a chance of showers and thunderstorms, and the chance of rain will decrease to 20% by night. Next week, we'll finally get a much-needed break from all this rain and see some sun. Live in the Weather Center, Caitlin Vu, Good Morning Texas.
Thanks, Caitlin. Well, I guess I'll have to just keep on looking forward to next week.
For
Because
sure.
I hate rain.
Me too.
And cloudiness and just cold weather. But next week, right?
Yeah.
Next week is
Hold
getting
on
better.
for next week.
Yep.
So don't go anywhere. We got some interviews coming your way.
And stay tuned for more Good Morning Texas.
Welcome back. We're here with Christopher Plummer. Christopher organized a special viewing of Black Panther, which included a red carpet.
Hundreds of students went to the event after it was shared all over Twitter.
So just tell us a little bit about what this event entailed.
Overall, it was just basically the Black community coming together for a screening of Black Panther. Over Twitter, of course, we was talking about dressing up and coming in African wear and having a little bit more fun. So we made it a red carpet event so everybody can get a chance to take pictures, communicate in the lobby and just be able to have an overall good time.
Okay, awesome. And what inspired you to create an event like this?
Well, of course, in the Black community, we kind of look at this as like really privileged because at the end of the day, like we really don't see a lot of Black superheroes like that. And then the fact that it has a big platform with Marvel, we have a big chance to just feel proud about what we have in our community now. And then because overall we have a predominantly Black cast and a Black director, we overall have a chance to just feel proud as a community. So we might as well take advantage.
So you mentioned privilege just before. So what does this movie mean to you, being able to look up to these superheroes and have this sort of like identification in the world now?
It kind of gives us more of a chance of like hope that we're able to do more overall in media, in movies, and entertainment. But of course, in our political stances. It gives us a chance to feel more proud about what we're doing. And then of course, we can have people to look up to because of course there are a lot of RT people. At UT, there are a lot of people that do their own thing. And it's kind of hard if you don't have the experience. So it lets you feel more comfortable that these big named companies will allow you to get on the stage and show your life and show your light.
And did you expect your event to be so big, and how did you feel about the turnout?
I did not expect my event to be so big. I honestly just thought it was going to be like a couple hundred people. And I liked the event turnout overall because everybody was just open-minded about everything that was going on. I didn't really expect people to dress out, but they did, and they came best, like, dressed to impress and ready to look good for the red carpet overall.
Yeah. So how did you like the movie?
The movie was fantastic. I'm not the one to do spoilers, but at the end of the day, when it comes to subliminal messages and metaphors, like, it was the best movie I've probably seen in a minute.
Will you be watching it again?
Oh, definitely.
Awesome. And are you going to put any more events like this in the future?
I wouldn't say movie events, but I'm definitely going to give a lot more people chances to show off their art fields and do more events for the Black community.
Okay.
All right, stay tuned for more Good Morning Texas.
Welcome back to Good Morning Texas. UT students are getting ready to place their vote for student body vice president and president for the upcoming school year. Elections start exactly a week from today, and in honor of that, we have both sets of candidates who are competitively running. We have Ganese Ibrahim and Hannah McMorris and Colton Becker and Miraz Rahman with us. Thank you for being with us this early. Thank you so much, by the way. Yeah. Okay, let's just start with the questions now. So whoever wants to start first, let's start with y'all. Why are y'all running?
So we're running because we really want to make sure that every student on campus has the tools they need to succeed. We believe that we've talked to students and created this platform that can do that, and we want to get started on making those changes. For example, I'm a Muslim student, I have to pray 5 times a day, so making sure that other students like me don't have to put their faces to the ground, dirty ground, 5 times a day is something that reflection spaces would help out with. And then a mental health day policy would be something that would help students who maybe can't get out of the bed, not because they have the flu, but because they have something else that they need to take care of. And making sure that professors can meet us where they're at is really important to us.
All right. Do you want to add anything?
Yeah, I'll just say, like, the resources that the university offers students and the infrastructure in place to support us, like Miraz and I from our personal experiences have found that that's really, like, important, like, for our, like, success and, like, your growth here on the 40 acres. And so we want to remove some of those barriers to success for other students. And I know my personal passion is interpersonal violence prevention, and so establishing mandatory consent workshops and FIGs is something that we're going to address as well.
All right, thank you. And what about you guys?
Well, there's a reason that 80% of our campus doesn't vote during these elections. I think a lot of people feel that SG doesn't impact them directly, or maybe during the 2 to 3 weeks these campaigns are going on, that their community is tokenized or exploited, and then when the 2 people are in office, their community is forgotten about, which is unhealthy. However, we do recognize that student government has potential to do a lot of great work because it's the linkage between the student body and the administration.
Yes, and our hallmark platform point is about Riverside. It's often addressed, but there are not a lot of tangible action plans that come along with that. So we definitely want to extend hours during the weekends and build a Riverside Student Center. We also, under our support system platform point, want to bring closed captioning to all real-time online courses, add tampon and pad dispensaries to major bathrooms, as well as gender-inclusive signage. These are some of the platform points that we're running on, and our goal with all of it is making sure that we're equalizing the playing field for all students. There's a lot of gaps in the way that people experience this campus and the way that they're included, and we want to address that.
All right. Second question is, what is the biggest why of y'all are choosing the platform that you're going with?
Like I previously mentioned before, there are reasons why we particularly included certain platform points, such as the reflection spaces, because that's something that directly impacts my life in praying 5 times a day. It's not something that, sometimes I have 15 minutes between class, sometimes I have an hour, and it's impossible to run to the PCL or the Union where the only 2 current reflection spaces exist. And that's something that has informed my reason for wanting that on campus. another reason is I've been very passionate about mental health, and that's something that I've worked on a lot, and I've struggled with my mental health in the past as well. So that's another reason for the mental health day policy. Also, inclusion is very important to me as well. So inclusivity training for registered student organizations is something we'd like to implement. But like Colton said before, we have talked to students from all corners of campus, and the reason why we're doing this is to make sure that all students have the tools that they need to succeed. So we made sure to include not just our voices, because we know that we definitely can't represent the entire student body, but we wanted the entire student body's voices to be represented in our platform.
All right, thank you. And what about you all?
I think a really big focus of a lot of our platform points was equaling the playing field, equalizing things, because of course we want to elevate the whole campus, but there's so many students who are just systematically disadvantaged on campus and off. So it's so important, especially with Riverside students, for example, to focus on those issues, allow them to have a platform, allow them to have the opportunity that a lot of other students enter this university with, and then we're able to, as a whole community, come together and improve the whole campus.
Yes, and on that point, we also recognize some of the discrepancies within student government itself. Under our SG Culture platform point, we want to bring identity-based reps to the assembly. And kind of the reason behind that is that when I was in student government, I was disappointed by some of the exclusivity of it, but loved how much resources were available, but there's so many students who are left out of that conversation. And so it's really important that people who aren't always invited to the table, we're already creating a spot for them. And so having a Black rep, a Muslim rep, a Latinx rep, a queer and trans student rep are so important to have their voices represented.
I see. Thank you, thank you. One thing that I wanted to clarify, what did you mean by Riverside students? Because well, personally, I didn't understand what you meant. What did you mean by that?
So Riverside, there's different areas where students live, right? There's on campus, North Campus, West Campus, and those are basically like living here. UT is not meant to be a commuter school, but there's this huge section of our campus that lives in Riverside, typically low-income students because the properties there are a lot more affordable. This changes your Longhorn experience because, like I said, it's not meant to be a commuter school. However, students might take an hour to get here by bus. They might not have the same opportunities to join organizations. And yet there's huge populace of this campus who's experiencing that. So that's what we mean by Riverside students.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you for clarifying, yes. Okay, now we're going to move on to some more personal questions directly related to y'all's campaigns. We'll start with you guys. So Colton, you were the vice president of Not on My Campus last year, and Miraz, you worked with diversity inclusion agencies around campus. So this is obviously something that's really important to you guys. How do you plan to efficiently continue work in these areas that you guys are interested in?
Okay. So for Not on My Campus, like something that I would work on personally, I was on the executive board for Kevin and Bina last year, and I was part of the administration that helped establish the Interpersonal Violence Prevention Coalition, and that gave me an opportunity to bridge my work with Not on My Campus and the other orgs on campus who are working on interpersonal violence prevention, like Steps for Survivors and Voices Against Violence. So we would be continuing to do that sort of work, like bringing different organizations from around campus together. I think one of the best things that like we can use these platforms for is to use the resources of student government to amplify like the organizations and like the communities that are already doing this work and like working from behind, which is something that student government doesn't often do. And so that's what we would be doing, like for interpersonal violence.
All right. And I've already mentioned like having reflection spaces and inclusivity training for registered student organizations, which is super important because they tell us that all we need is 3 people and $10 to start an organization, but it should be beyond that. We should teach students and train students to run their organizations inclusively. We also recognize that there are a lot of issues on this campus when it comes to inclusivity, which is a reason why I've become passionate about it. I know that I can look around my classrooms and see people who look like me, but that's not the case for a lot of people on this campus. And we think that those points that we've included on our platform, as well as like making sure that transfer students are included and making sure that they are being able to be included in student government as well, and these voices are represented in student government as well is something that's super important to us.
All right, so it's really obvious that diversity and inclusivity is a really big part of y'all's campaign. And also in the same way, that's also a big part of y'all's campaign. Diversity, how do you guys plan to push, what's the biggest, I guess, front forward pushing thing that you're going with to push forward diversity, if that makes sense? I don't know if that made sense, but.
I think that all of our platform points in some way do address diversity and inclusion. I think that our support system point has every point underneath that addresses a certain community. I think our Riverside point is mainly directed to Latinx and Black students on campus. Our SG Culture point is trying to include everyone and bring them into the conversation.
We also have food option platform points, which include creating halal and kosher options for Muslim and Jewish students. So a lot of what we're doing, it's again thinking about students who are typically disadvantaged, and that's where inclusion comes to play in making sure they have a seat at the table.
I see. Awesome. Okay, back to you guys. One of your platform points deals with making SureWalk accessible to students for as long as possible. How long do you plan to keep this program running long term, and how? Because I heard it's also a very expensive program.
Yeah, so it was actually started in the 1980s by a student body president at the time, Paul Bagala, and like the funding for the program is currently there, so it exists through PTS. What we would be doing is we would be looking to establish a more sustainable term, kind of long-term funding by working with the President's Office and the Student Services Budget Committee to achieve that, in addition to expanding the current resources that it offers. So working on developing an app, and then also we would be like introducing more primary prevention methods into like SureWalk, because SureWalk was created to address sexual assault on campus and to prevent that from occurring. And so right now it uses a lot of secondary prevention methods, so we would be also looking to incorporate more of the, the primary prevention. So.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I see. Okay, and then for you guys, so this is something that's just been talked about lately, and we wanted to address it also. So there has been a lot of attention, drawn to y'all's campaign in the past 2 weeks. And it has been interpreted as controversial by some people, I guess. UT students have taken to Twitter to voice their concerns, I guess, about tweets saying that some things were racially insensitive towards white students. And Hannah, you took to Twitter on Monday to explain to people what you meant and that you value honesty and transparency coming from a news background. So what would you like to tell the UT student body about yourself, and what do you want people to know about you and about what you meant with those tweets?
Yes, so that Twitter thread kind of addresses it as much as I can. But to reiterate it, I am here to amplify the voices of marginalized students. And so there are people on this campus where a space has already been created for them. And so if I am on my Twitter and I critique behavior of a white male or of white students on this campus, it's coming from a spot that acknowledges the privileges that they have that a lot of other students don't. Even when we were having the debate, there was a comment that came up that asked, what did you mean when you said you weren't fond of Greek life on your September 8th tweet? I actually didn't say that. I actually wrote a thread about cultural appropriation, about a banner that was posted on a Tri Delta house, and I actually talked to the president of Tri Delta to get that banner taken down. So I have been in conversation with a lot of Greek life and with the president of the Panhellenic Council. So I'm not against Greek life, but I do recognize that there's privileges they have that other students don't. And I think it's important to be honest about the space that they take up that a lot of students aren't welcome to.
I see. Thank you for clarifying and being okay with addressing that. We just wanted to make sure everyone had a platform to express themselves the way that they would want to represent themselves and just, explain certain situations. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for coming out. Also, where and when can people vote? And anyone can answer this, honestly.
Voting is February 28th to March 1st, and you can vote at utexasvote.org from any device. Doesn't matter who you vote for, you should be voting, because too few students vote during these elections, and it's important to have your vote heard. Also, the primaries are going on, so vote during the primaries too.
All right, do you guys want to say anything else?
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
All right. y'all heard Longhorns. Thank you all so much for coming out again this early Wednesday morning, and thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at Good Morning Texas. I'm Jaewon Yu. Have a wonderful day.